It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Big names and big celebrations are taking place all throughout Greater West Bloomfield because yesterday, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter announced this year's Oakland Together 40 Under 40. A diverse and passionate group of individuals making a positive change throughout Oakland County. Here's this year's video announcement of the 40 Under 40 class of 2025.
I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. Thanks for tuning in to our official Oakland Together 40 Under 40 class of 2025 announcement. I am so pleased to welcome 40 new outstanding individuals to a network of several hundred previous recipients who are helping Oakland County thrive. So this is our first time broadcasting our announcement, and I'm thankful to have a little help in doing so. I'm joined here today by 40 Under 40 alumni, Sean Hayes, Mike McKinstry, Caleb Sheng, Saidi Garcia, and Sarah Gold. This award recognizes outstanding individuals younger than 40 who live or work in Oakland County. They embody the spirit of Oakland Together and our vision of always moving forward. That's right, these individuals are driving positive change and making a significant impact in their local communities. They demonstrate innovation, exceptional community service, and professional achievement. This is a special group, selected from more than 300 applicants this year. So, let's get to the moment we've all been waiting for and announce the class of 2025.
My name is Sean Hayes, Executive Director with Paint Creek Center for the Arts and the Art in Apples Festival. I was 40 Under 40 for class of 2023. I'd like to welcome the following individuals to the 2025 class. Dr. Mohammed Hussein Abdul-Jabbar of Novi, Dr. Ashley Barnes of Beverly Hills, Farmington Hills resident Kendall Bowman, Ashley Chambers, who works in Rochester Hills, Keisha Colson of Southfield, Milford resident Sarah Cook Malin, Nathan J. Fink of West Bloomfield Township, and Doug Ferguson of Clawson. Congratulations, everyone.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gold with Oakland County, a member of the class of 2022's 40 Under 40. I'd like to congratulate the following honorees: Birmingham resident Brad Galley, Michael Greco of Waterford Township, Pontiac resident Russell L. Harris Jr., and Pontiac resident Dr. Tia Harvey, Dorian A. Hooker of Southfield, Sergeant Sam James of Waterford, Rochester Hills resident Christelle Kiefer, and Shane Robert Colo of West Bloomfield. Congratulations, everybody.
Hi, I'm Caleb, CPO and attorney at Waldo Wealth Partners and Shung Law. Very, very happy to congratulate the following folks for the 40 Under 40 class of 2025, and I'm from 2022. Mara Magyarosi Leitner of Hazel Park, Oluwatosin Martins, who works in Pontiac, Elizabeth McGregor of Waterford, Anita Matai of Royal Oak, Lake Orion resident Shelby Kuhlman, Brandon Lee of Royal Oak, Clawson resident Shane P. Lewis, and Luke Londo of Hazel Park. We're very proud of you.
Hi, this is Saidi Garcia from Oakland Thrive. Today, I would like to congratulate the following honorees. I am part of the 2024 40 Under 40, and I'm really happy to announce Troy resident Carolina Nogues, Liz Parkinson of Madison Heights, Ryan A. Patrica of Royal Oak, Tejas Kumar Mangal Balgonda Patil of Troy, Samantha Pickering of Frendale, the Honorable Laura E. Policy of Rochester Hills, Troy resident Dr. Catherine Ragu, David A. Sally of Franklin. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Mike McKinstry. I'm host of the Basquatch Hunter Fish Out of Water on the Discovery Channel and 2024 40 Under 40 alumni. I would like to congratulate the new 2025 40 Under 40 class. First, we have Royal Oak resident Eli Salter. We have Drew Schultz of Clawson, Hassan B. Sheik of West Bloomfield, Susanna Skrelly of Birmingham, Clawson resident Jen Scrudelis, Sarah Witt of Royal Oak, Melissa Ann Williams Bowman of Sylvan Lake, and Andrew Zaccanini of Rochester Hills. Congratulations, class of 2025.
Congratulations to all this year's Oakland Together 40 Under 40. I look forward to seeing you soon and celebrating your accomplishments and contributions to our great county and beyond. Thank you for watching, and be sure to follow us on social media for more updates about this year's honorees.
And that was this year's unveiling of the class of 2025 Oakland County 40 Under 40. And you might have noticed 4 of those names have ties to Greater West Bloomfield. Nathan J. Fink of West Bloomfield Township, who's a partner at Fink Bressack. Shane Robert Colo of West Bloomfield works at Oakland County Prosecutor's Office as an assistant prosecuting attorney, and he's also a West Bloomfield Zoning Board member. Hassan B. Sheik of West Bloomfield works at Wayne County as Director of Economic Development, and Melissa Ann Williams Bowman of Sylvan Lake works with Oakland County's Health Division as an epidemiologist. Big congratulations to every single one of the nominees for all of the work they do throughout Oakland County. Tonight, West Bloomfield High School students are headed to the big stage. Matilda is premiering at West Bloomfield High School tonight, so we get to see all of the great work that these students are doing for their final theatrical show of the season. Now, we've been showing this package a couple times throughout the week, but we want to give you guys one more quick look behind the scenes of what happens before the lights turn on and how the students taking the driver's seat are leading everyone through the final musical of the school year.
It has been really amazing. I am very grateful for this opportunity. I had really wanted to get into directing and just step into that side of the world from just differentiating myself from an actor. And I think that working with my partner has really just made it top tier, and I just really enjoyed it.
What made you develop an interest in directing?
I just had a ton of ideas, and from an acting standpoint, you're not really supposed to just, throw your ideas out there. And so being able to do that and throw my artistic vision into something and watch it come to life on stage was something I was really interested in. It's really beautiful each time, especially with starting from the beginning. You get to see the actors really grow into their characters, and not only grow as their character, but into who they are as a person.
What I have noticed is that, I've been made more aware of myself, and as an actor, I think I've gained more respect, and in a sense, because when you're just an actor, when the director's tripping or just has some type of I see why now. I see how to be more kind and have a better understanding. So I think that's one thing I've learned.
What would be some of the challenges that you think people might not be aware of when tackling something like this?
When you come from being a friend to your peers, to someone that's higher over them, I feel like respect is something that could be a challenge. Having people see you as something different, you have to really assert yourself in a way for them to really understand who you are, for them to take you serious. I feel like that's something that's a challenge.
I feel like people aren't really aware of how much work we really do put in. We are here all the time, every day, and it's not a bad thing at all. That's why our productions are so good. You talk to your friends and you're like, yeah, I'm here till 6:30. Yeah, I'm here till 9 o'clock. And they're like, wow, I can never do that. But it doesn't feel like work. Never does. It's just always real fun.
What's it been like to work closely with some of the main directors and the teachers in this way, and to learn from them and to work alongside them?
It has gained me respect, more respect for them, and a better understanding. When working with the main directors, I just see a different side of them that I didn't see as an actor. I get to understand their point of view, and I feel like I've gained a better bond with them. And then working so closely with somebody that's my peer has really made us closer, and that will probably be a long-lasting friendship.
Theater is something that means the world to me, and it's literally the only thing that I do. And I put my soul, my heart into everything. And even in schoolwork, it's something you can always take with you, to put your 100% into everything.
Man, that looks like so much fun. You can learn more about Matilda and get your tickets for shows taking place tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. Recent talks about fluoride in public drinking water have been gaining traction. Utah is set to become the first U.S. state to ban fluoride in public drinking water, despite overwhelming support for fluoridation from dental and public health organizations. I recently spoke with Dr. Warren and Dr. Amira Mae Woodruff, co-owners of Caring Smiles Family Dentistry, to hear their thoughts on the matter. Dr. Warren Woodruff and Dr. Amira Mae Woodruff, co-owners of Caring Smiles Family Dentistry. Good to have both of you with us today.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you both again. Glad to be getting into this conversation. It's a very important conversation. In light of Utah's decision to ban fluoride in drinking water, how do you plan to educate patients and families in West Bloomfield about fluoride's benefits and safety?
Yes, well, I'm really glad you guys are bringing this topic to light. It's really important, especially hits home for us. But I think it's important to realize that fluoride in water benefits everyone, anyone who ingests it. But my favorite part about it is that it benefits children, and especially babies that aren't even born yet. That's because fluoride in water helps to protect teeth that are forming, that haven't even come into the mouth yet. So even in utero, a mother drinking water that's been fluoridated is helping the teeth to come in stronger so they can be more resistant to cavities. That's my favorite part about the benefits. In terms of safety, fluoride is not toxic, and it's actually naturally occurring in water. It's just in the United States, it's at a much lower level than what's beneficial. So we raise it a little bit so that it can be beneficial for everybody. And just so people know, it's raised to 0.7 parts per million, which means that if you had 1 million ounces of water, there's less than 1 ounce that is fluoride.
All right, very interesting information that everybody can take with them. Warren, I want to throw a question to you. How do you address the dental care needs of patients who may not have regular access to fluoride or preventative treatments, especially those from underserved areas?
Yeah, I believe that access shouldn't determine the health outcomes of patients. If someone is not able to afford to go to their dentist or different reasons why they may not be able to make that visit, there's really a lot of things that they can be doing at home. So we're stressing the importance of making sure people are brushing and flossing correctly, using mouth rinse correctly. But with a lot of those products, we want to make sure that there's fluoride in those products as well. So there's a lot of different mouth rinses. One in particular is called ACT mouth rinse that has fluoride in it. So we really stress the importance of using those products at home. And then when patients do come into the office, we can talk to them about very affordable treatments that we can offer, such as fluoride treatment in office, or sealants, or personalized plans for what they can do at home from different products that they can use that can really make a big difference in the outcome of their oral health.
Awesome, I love that. You're doing so much to educate the general public on these topics, which are very, very important. Here's a question for both of you. With fluoride becoming a political topic, how can local dental practices like Caring Smiles Family Dentistry combat misinformation and promote science-based care in the community? Amira, we'll start with you.
Yes, well, I really think it's unfortunate that it's become so polarizing. And I do think, like what you said, it's because of misinformation. I think it's important that we want to make it clear that we have patients who have all different beliefs. We accept all different beliefs, and there's no judgment on if somebody does not want fluoride for themselves. Right. It's only our job to make sure that we are giving the information that would be best for them, and if they would like to move forward, providing the best care possible. But we do realize it has become so polarizing. It's just so unfortunate because it's such an inexpensive way in the grand scheme of things to affect so many people, especially the, like you mentioned, the underserved, vulnerable populations, the children. And so to take that away is unfathomable.
Yeah, and another thing too, we focus on trust and transparency at our office. So all the decisions we make are always science-based. And one thing that a lot of people may not know is that Grand Rapids was actually the first city in the world to implement fluoride in their drinking water. So the state of Michigan has been a pioneer This was back in 1945. So the state of Michigan has been a pioneer in promoting oral health and finding the benefits of it as well. So it's our job to continue to promote that science that is dated back, so many decades, almost a half a century ago, that shows the importance of fluoride and how it can prevent cavities and future issues that people may have that don't have fluoride in their water as well.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Dr. Warren Woodruff and Dr. Amira Woodruff from Caring Smiles Family Dentistry here talking about the importance of fluoride in response to recent discussions to possibly ban it from drinking water. Amira, the next question's for you. What role do you think schools and youth programs in Greater West Bloomfield can play in reinforcing the importance of dental hygiene, especially if fluoride access becomes limited in the future?
Yes, that's a great question. There are a number of programs and also businesses that actually go into schools. And so it will be a dental provider, whether it's a dentist or a dental hygienist, who actually does exams. They'll take a look at all the children's teeth. They may provide some quick, easy treatments, whether that's sealants or whether it's applying fluoride. But a lot of times that is the first chance a child has a dental provider to be able to see that there could be something going wrong. And dental caries is the #1 disease in children, and not everybody has access to care. So there's kids at school with dental infections, and some of them can become severe, and it can affect their daily lives and their overall health as well. So we'll see with these programs. Sometimes we'll get patients coming to our office that will have a little form where it says down that somebody saw them on this date, what they found, and that what treatment that they recommend they need treatment. So then we'll do an exam, take x-rays, and then take care of that person. So I think without a lot of those programs, there may be many children who find out too late that there's an issue going on.
That's right. Those programs, very, very important. And like I've been saying, it's good that you're looking out for the kids. Warren, if fluoride access were ever limited locally, what alternative preventative strategies would you recommend to West Bloomfield families to help protect their children's teeth?
Yeah, I mean, a simple message of brushing daily and flossing is something that can go a long way in people at home and in their communities. So that's something that we would really have to make sure that we're stressing the importance of that even more frequently and to families if fluoride were to be limited. I think we love to support any community efforts as possible. We always are going into speaking to the different schools and different community events. And I think just dentists getting together collectively to make sure that everyone in our community understands the importance of their oral health, importance of taking care of their teeth, minimizing candy and other foods and things that can cause cavities. It's going to just be even more important for us all to have that discussion if fluoride were to be limited.
That's right. All those important practices to keep in mind that we've been hearing for a very long time, all important to remember for the future. I want to thank both of you for coming by and having this conversation with us. One more quick question before we let you go. Do you see yourself or your practice taking on a broader public health role in the community, perhaps working with local officials or school boards when it comes to oral health policy and advocacy?
Well, I actually do think that'd be wonderful to do in the future. Right now, with such a busy practice and an even busier toddler, we have not been involved in actual policy and advocacy outside of what Dr. Warren already mentioned, us going and speaking at schools. We also speak at different events. We'll have a table, and it's more than just passing out our business cards. Every single event we do, we have people coming up who haven't been to the dentist in a long time, or they just have had a fear and they have questions, specific questions, and we talk it through. And even though it might be just small impacts on each individual person instead of a grander scheme of the whole community, we feel that every interaction makes a big difference.
Warren, same question.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what Dr. May said, I think it's also important to find ways to educate the community for people that aren't even our patients. And one thing that we do on our social media is we we try to make different posts about different dental education tips and things that people can be doing at home. We have a blog on our website as well. So we're always constantly updating that and giving the most up-to-date recommendations of products to use. On our website, we even have a favorite dental products page we share with the community as well. So all those different things that we want to try to be able to reach as many people as possible, even if they're not our patients or they're not able to come to our office, just continuing that line of open communication. And our doors are always open. So if anybody wants to ever come to our office and meet with us or talk to us, or there are community events that are looking to have people participate or have us speak at, we're always open to that as well.
Well, it's amazing everything you guys are doing, and I hope that this conversation helps to educate people even further. Amira, Warren, thank you both so much for joining us here on The Splash Live.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Lots of important things to keep in mind when dealing with fluoride. Once again, we thank Dr. Warren and Dr. Amira Woodruff for joining us on The Splash and having this conversation. Right in Sylvan Lake, a new fitness opportunity for some of the older residents of the community. Functional Fitness with Debbie, led by Debbie Booth, offers opportunities for seniors to move better, feel better, and live fully. I had the chance to attend their recent class to hear from some of the seniors themselves on what they've gained from this experience.
As you get older, you get more and more complacent, so I could feel things were starting to tighten, and I knew I needed to start stretching and just getting more mobility going. I like that what she taught us is something I can do at home. So we're only meeting one day a week, but I know I can practice these things at home. And it's nice to get out and meet our neighbors.
What have been some of the biggest things you've gained from being a part of this class?
Just getting started in the morning rather than being at home, and we all have the round to it. I'm going to get a round to it, and it gets me going in the morning to start the day.
And I mean, if there's any place to do a class like this, I mean, having an incredible view right here by Sylvan Lake, I mean, that's just got to add to the experience, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, I love being able to be down here at our community center and just take advantage of it. And it's a really reasonable price. You can't find an exercise class for this value.
Absolutely, I was to look out. I'd much rather be looking at the water and the ducks and the geese and not ice. Ready for the warm weather. Every spring is a rebirth, and I'm so glad to say, welcome spring.
And last question, what do you hope are some of the biggest things people take away from classes like these?
I've got to move. As we get older, we have to get up, we have to get moving. Walking through the community, I try to walk frequently, and just seeing people out walking around, it's good, but you need to get to these classes as well.
Well, I think it's a mindset. If someone said, I'm too old, for example. Oh, too old for what? You're never too old. Whatever you want to do in life, go for it.
So many valuable resources to gain from incredible classes like this, and all of it is made possible by the incredible work of their fitness instructor, Debbie Booth, who joins us right now on The Splash Live to tell us her thoughts on these classes. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Jake. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely glad to have you with us. Really interested in getting into this conversation. What inspired you to create a functional fitness class specifically for seniors?
Basically, I saw a lack in the industry for safe and effective exercise for seniors that focuses on function, functional exercise, balance, strength, and stability. They all kind of go hand in hand. And as we get older, we lose those functions, and it actually starts a little bit earlier than you think. It starts really in your 40s for a lot of working men, and it tends to start a little bit later for women, more in their 50s. But many seniors begin being sidelined with injuries. So injuries pull them out of the gym, and then they're concerned about going back, jumping into something, re-injuring themselves. So they tend to sideline themselves. So that was a big part of it. The other part is to get our older residents out and in the community and social. So social isolation is really a big problem in the senior world.
You're absolutely right. It's always good and important to get the seniors out and communicating with the rest of the community and with like-minded individuals. Now, I was at your class yesterday and I saw everything firsthand. These are more basic exercises, but they have a lot of purpose. What are some of the common challenges seniors face that your class addresses?
One of the first things they face is balance and fall risks. So as we age, we stop doing things like pivoting when we turn. We tend to shuffle our turns. So that's something we address a lot, getting people to walk with a full walk, heel toe, walking forward. They start losing muscle strength, and with that, they lose stability. That's where the balance and fall risk begins. Arthritis sets in. And we have sedentary seniors, so we get locked up hips and backs. And we try to address all that with stretching, strengthening, and movement, and just reestablishing really good body mechanics.
Awesome. Very important purposes with these exercises. Now, can participants join at any fitness level, or should they at least have some prior experience?
No, they can join at any fitness level. Fitness really is pretty simple. Deconditioned individuals start with much lighter weight and bands. We usually use bands, weights, and balls, and body weight. If they're more fit, they just start with maybe heavier weights and bands. So I am known for my progression and regression of exercise to keep it safe across the board. So I really emphasize safety and knowing your limitations, and then building your confidence and your strength to challenge yourself.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we're talking with fitness instructor Debbie Booth about the Functional Fitness with Debbie classes that are taking place right now at the Sylvan Lake Community Center every Wednesday. Now, Debbie, how do you track or measure participants' progress over time as they keep coming back through your classes?
Well, I ask them to kind of note how they feel during exercise and after exercise. I'm not a huge fan of testing. Most people panic, don't like it. They tend to shy away as soon as the word test comes out. So we use more of a gauge of how they're feeling, how their joints are moving through range of motion, their pain levels, the ease of completing daily tasks in their life, their perceived endurance, their exhaustion levels, right? That's more of how we do it. I really keep an eye and I take some notes on people so I know and I can tell how they're moving. So it's a combination.
Of course, lots of important things to track. Now, Debbie, you've been doing this for a few weeks now. What have some of the participants who've been a part of your class told you firsthand about their experience?
One, they're really glad that we're offering this class. Two, they're not really comfortable in a big gym facility in big group classes. They like a more intimate setting, which this is. They want my assistance in keeping them on track, encouraging them to come. You know, we have a no judgment zone. So there is no judgment, period. People start where they start and they progress how they progress. It is a very encouraging and inclusive environment. And that is very, very important to me. So I think our own worst critics are ourselves. So my role, I feel, is to lift them up and help them move forward at their pace and their comfort level.
I like that. And you brought up a good point because gyms can be very intimidating, especially if you're not somebody who works out an absolute ton. But you walk through, you see everybody just go into town with these machines. You don't really know where to start. So you're right. Being in that environment with people who are in the same boat as you, just looking to get a little more active, that helps lift everyone's spirits, wouldn't you say?
Right, exactly. And it really is about building a base for fitness. So what I see in the gyms is people go in and they have great intentions, and they tend to go in and overdo it, and they get extremely sore, and they leave the gym and they don't come back because they don't really know where to start, or they're on social media following fitness people that that mode of exercise really doesn't serve them well. So I feel my role, especially with this population, is to build a solid base of which we can branch off of. So you're never always a beginner. That's not how it goes. I call it kindergarten. You need to go to kindergarten, but then you want to progress into the next levels, and eventually you want to graduate and move on to the next level. So that's really how I approach it.
I love that. Really helping to make that positive environment for everyone at your class. Debbie, one last quick question before we let you go. Beyond physical benefits, what other positive changes have you seen in your students' lives?
I see a renewed zest for life, a renewed spirit. The light comes back in their eyes. They find that they're able to do things that they couldn't do before. And that's usually what I hear first, or I hear from their family members. So some of my clients and other classes, their family members reach out to me, and they're grateful that now their parent, aunt, sibling, older sibling can now get in and out of cars, come to family events, go up and down stairs. I mean, it's simple things that sideline us. I just love being a positive influence, keeping them moving and getting them moving.
Well, that is amazing. Actually, I do have one more quick thing. Just tell us a little more information about the schedule for your classes, how long they're going to be going, and how people can join.
Okay, so Wednesday Live is part of a whole 12-week program I have on my website, which is in the flyer that you see in front of you. So we need to exercise 120 minutes a week. That's 30 minutes a day. So the Wednesdays will start being recorded live. You will be able to come in live or watch them pre-recorded and join in. So our classes were on Wednesdays in Sylvan Lake. If you'd like to join, you can join through my website. There's a Eventbrite that you see that allows you to sign up for class, or you can contact me directly. My contact information is on the flyer.
Awesome.
So, and on Sylvan Facebook. So.
Awesome. You know where to look, and you know how to join in on this great opportunity. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you. You have a great day.
All great things to hear about in Sylvan Lake, and plenty of great opportunities for the seniors to get up and get moving and to stay active throughout the entire community. We're going to take a quick break and jump into some more stories from Greater West Bloomfield right after this. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. It's that time of year again. Gather around to honor our community's volunteers at the 53rd Annual Michigan Week Awards. Watch as these local stars are honored for their leadership, dedication, and passion in their community. For more information or to register, go to michiganweek.org. Catch the live broadcast May 9th on civiccentertv.com or on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be one in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. As we move along throughout the springtime months, allergies and illnesses will continue to play a major factor all throughout. Spring allergies are increasing and triggering asthma and COPD flare-ups, particularly as the weather fluctuates in southeast Michigan. And not only that, but stomach viruses are on the rise across all countries, including norovirus and rotavirus cases in children and unvaccinated infants. Here to tell us about how to combat spring illnesses is emergency medicine specialist with Henry Ford Hospital, Dr. Jason Veeder. Jason, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Really, really good. Really important conversation to get into. Glad you're joining us here on The Splash. What seasonal health concerns should West Bloomfield families be especially mindful of as we move into late spring?
Yeah, as you mentioned, obviously asthma and COPD are certainly at the top of the list. This winter, we had a very robust flu season. So a lot of folks had flu. We saw a lot of that in the emergency department. We did not see as much COVID. The flu is starting to abate somewhat. And now, as you noted, the weather has been kind of crazy. We'll get fluctuations of 40 degrees, and then we start to get pollen. So we really start to get concerned about people that have asthma and COPD. Certainly, we're on the lookout for that. Allergy season is right upon us. So we'll definitely see lots of people with allergies, and there still will be your run-of-the-mill colds and upper respiratory infections.
That's right. Lots of things to be on the lookout for a lot of people. I've had asthma issues when I was younger. It's not as bad now that I've gotten older, but I certainly know what a lot of people are dealing with right now. What would you say are some of the top safety recommendations for parents as children become more active outdoors and might have a higher risk of getting some of these illnesses?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I know we're going to talk about, especially when kids start going outdoors, some of the things I think about in addition to allergies are we want to start making sure that when kids are riding their bikes, they're wearing a helmet. A lot of times parents will put their kids in elbow pads and knee pads, things like that to avoid traumatic injuries. That's really important. For those parents that have children with allergies, if they're going to go outside, sometimes it's about pre-medicating with an antihistamine so that it just will mitigate some of the severity of any sort of allergy or illness. Certainly be aware if you're in an area where there's lots of pollen or there's lots of trees and flowers. Those are areas to avoid as well. And it's crazy to think about because, when I woke up yesterday, it was 39 degrees outside, but it is sunny, and it's time to start thinking about putting on suntan lotion to just protect kids against getting a sunburn or any sort of heat-related illness.
Michigan weather at its finest. It can go from 30 degrees to 70 degrees just with the snap of a finger. And
Absolutely.
With a lot of these spring allergies coming forward, a lot of lingering respiratory infections can have very similar symptoms to just basic spring allergies. So how can West Bloomfield residents distinguish between the symptoms of spring allergies and a lingering infection?
That's a great question. So generally speaking, when you have an upper respiratory infection, it's going to last about 7 to 10 days. Sometimes a cough will linger, but then it'll go away. Allergies will frequently last much longer. Allergies, as people know, you'll get watery eyes or a runny nose. You might feel kind of itchy. When you have an infection, you can frequently get a fever. You might get body aches. You might notice a discoloration to any sort of, if your nose is running or any mucus. So those are good ways to differentiate an allergy versus an infection. If you have something that's just not going away, it's more likely an allergy. You can always trial an antihistamine like Zyrtec or Allegra or Benadryl and see if that makes you feel better. If that kind of medication makes you feel better, then you're more likely looking at an allergic reaction versus an infection.
All very important things to keep in mind. Now, has the Henry Ford Hospital, even the one in West Bloomfield, have they seen an increase in ER visits due to dehydration or outdoor-related injuries as of late?
So we're a little early in the season for that. Definitely as school gets out, which isn't too far away. I know my children can give me a daily count of how many days are left. As you know, kids are getting more active outside, then we start to worry about more traumatic injuries, kids falling, bike injuries, things like that. We worry about, like you said, dehydration or heat-related illness. When it gets really hot, it'll be important to make sure that your kids or people that work outside, people that are exposed for long periods of time in the sun, are making sure that they're staying cool, drinking water, wearing loose-fitting clothing, and taking time to get inside or to an area that will allow you to cool down so you don't get sick from being exposed to heat for too long.
That's right. Heat stroke can be a very, very dangerous thing to deal with, especially around this time of year. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have emergency medicine specialist with Henry Ford Hospital, Dr. Jason Veeder, joining us right now on the Splash Live to tell us how to combat spring illnesses and sicknesses that are arising this time of year. Now, Jason, what preventative steps can residents take at home or in schools to curb the spread of things like stomach bugs and viral infections to make sure those aren't an issue for anybody?
Yeah, the most important thing we can all do is to be really careful about hand washing. And I know sometimes it can be annoying or you don't want to spend the time doing it, but it's really, really important after you eat, should you sneeze or cough, certainly after you use the bathroom. It's really important to make sure you're washing your hands with soap and water. Sounds simple and easy, but unfortunately, not everyone's doing that. If you're not feeling well, I think we've all learned this lesson when we went through all of the COVID stuff. If you're not feeling well, that is not the time to try and push through and go to work or school.
That's right.
You know, it's important to take that extra day maybe and just stay at home. You don't have to isolate in your bedroom and, not talk to anybody. But if you're certainly not feeling well, it's a good reason to just kind of stay home, make sure you're feeling better. If you have to go out, that's a reason to wear a mask. Obviously, folks are not wearing masks as much anymore, and that's totally appropriate. But if you are not feeling well and you have concerns that you might have an infection, it'd be a good idea to wear a mask in a public space.
That's right. I definitely think that since the days of COVID, everybody is a lot more wary when it comes to any type of illness. Even if it's like just a simple cold that passes through that anybody gets, you got to be very, very careful and make sure that nobody gets this and it doesn't spread any further. Jason, how does the community's access to care at Henry Ford support faster recovery and reduce ER congestion during illness surges?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. First of all, once again, just as we all still do, I shouldn't say we all, but I certainly still have a little bit of post-traumatic stress from COVID. Once again, it's just trying to be judicious about the times when you're not feeling well and going out. If you're not feeling well, there are plenty of urgent cares. Henry Ford has a series of urgent cares called Go Health, which you've probably seen around your neighborhood. There are quite a few of them. Those are great resources if you're not feeling well, but you feel like you might not need an emergency department visit. Those are a good place to go to get some care. Should you go to the emergency department, especially at West Bloomfield Hospital, we've done some things to try and decrease congestion. We've put a physician in the triage area to try and differentiate those who are really sick and might need a hospitalization and those who maybe just need to be evaluated and treated. Should you need to actually come back to the emergency department proper, there are also programs that we have to try to keep people out of the hospital. We have something called Mobile Integrated Health, which is a program when, if you're not feeling well, but we feel like maybe you could still go home, there are people then can come out the next day and check on you, make sure you're doing okay, you're taking your medications as prescribed. There's a lot of literature that shows that people heal the best at home. So while certainly there are times when a hospitalization is needed, if we can get someone back home with their family in a familiar environment, that will really promote healing much quicker if possible.
Absolutely. Sounds like that could have so many benefits for people staying at home, recovering from illnesses. Jason, I got one more quick question for you before we let you go. Are there any specific public health advisories or upcoming vaccination clinics in West Bloomfield you recommend residents be aware of this spring?
So, I'm not aware of any vaccination clinics right now, but I'm sure many people have seen that we have had an uptick in measles. It's the greatest amount of measles we've seen in decades. So I can't stress enough the importance of getting vaccinated. Certainly your primary care physician can help with that, or our Department of Public Health, because it's critically important that we make sure that we're vaccinated so that we really decrease these preventable illnesses that we're now seeing an uptick.
That's right. Important things to be aware of all throughout this illness season. Dr. Veeder, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
It's my pleasure.
Happy to have this conversation, and really important things for everyone to keep aware of as spring continues on and everyone starts to deal with those allergies and those illnesses that we all know and we all don't want to deal with, but there are ways to manage them and to make sure that nobody else gets sick. So very important conversation for everyone to keep in mind. The Friendship Circle's Farber Center is going to be holding an incredible art exhibit coming up very, very soon. We're going to be talking with someone from the Friendship Circle and one of the artists themselves to hear about their involvement right after this break. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
So much is happening in your community. Join Jake, Tyler, and Kevin for local events and developments on The Splash Live, weekdays at 10 a.m. on civiccentertv.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Soul Studio for Michigan opens May 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Friendship Circle's Farber Center in West Bloomfield. The exhibit showcases art by individuals with special needs, highlighting their creative interpretations of Michigan's beauty, landmarks, and culture. Here to tell us all about it is Community Partnership Coordinator with the Friendship Circle, Caitlin Cartwright, and one of the featured artists for the show, Carly Suris. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Happy to have you with us and really, really excited to be hearing about this great exhibit coming to West Bloomfield. Caitlin, I'm going to start with you. What makes the West Bloomfield community such a powerful setting for hosting an inclusive art exhibit like Soul Studio for Michigan?
The West Bloomfield community is just such a supportive place. It's wonderful. It's wild to me the amount of people locally that come in to the studio or the cafe here, and they know someone or they have a connection and then they bring their friends and family from out of town across the world to come here. And they always talk about what a beautiful highlight it is for them to be in this space with the art studio for adults with special needs doing really gorgeous creative work.
That's right, and I've been to Soul Studio many times. I've seen all of the incredible artwork. It's such an amazing thing to see the creativity of this community firsthand. Carly, I want to talk to you for a second. What can you tell us about the Michigan memory or place that's inspired your artwork in this year's show?
Well, this is called Patchwork, and I made it with printmaking paper, and then another facilitating artist sewed it together to make a picture. And we were just talking, me and Caitlin, before we got on air, about how it represents the Upper Peninsula, and I totally agree with her, because it kind of reminds me of looking out a window when driving on the Upper Peninsula.
Oh, I love that. And the art looks absolutely beautiful. If you're seeing it right now on Civic Center TV, Caitlin is holding it up. It looks absolutely incredible. And that is just one of the pieces you will be taking a look at for this year's art show. Caitlin, how has the community responded to past exhibits? And what do you hope people will take away from this one in particular?
The art show openings are such an amazing time for the community to come out and check out what's going on. It's kind of the culmination of a lot of really hard work our artists have put in. We prepare months in advance. All the artists are working hard to create a piece of work that's meaningful to them, that's in line with the theme of the show. So they're working hard. It's a time for celebration. We have so many of our artists and their families come in. We have staff come in, and it's kind of like seeing peak Soul Studio. All the magic kind of comes together, and it's really just a happy celebration. And you see gorgeous art and get to talk to the artists about their inspiration.
All the magic comes together. I love that. That absolutely encapsulates everything you see at Soul Studio. Carly, what do you enjoy most about being a part of Soul Studio, and how has it helped you to grow as an artist?
Good question. It's a hard question to answer. But the thing I enjoy most about Soul Studio is, like Caitlin said, the connections that we all make, and the ability to create through our past experiences. And that's what I take away from the Soul Studio, is the ability to connect with my past experiences through art. And it's really just a healing experience. And I really enjoy it here.
Well, that's amazing to hear, and that's amazing to hear of everything that you've gained from Soul Studio. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Caitlin Cartwright with the Friendship Circle, and we have one of their featured artists, Carly Suris, for the upcoming Soul Studio for Michigan Art Gallery that's going to be taking place on May 22nd from 5 to 7 at the Friendship Circle's Farber Center in West Bloomfield. Caitlin, how does Soul Studio help foster connection and understanding between artists with special needs and the greater West Bloomfield public?
Good question. I think for me, the special needs community, I think, it can be not seen in its full beauty sometimes, in its full like richness and capacity and talent. And so staff here, I'm so excited just to be working every day with amazing artists like Carly, and to see her creative juices flowing, get to know her as a person and in all of her kindness and her volunteer work and her mentorship with others. It's such a beautiful thing to see. So when people come to see the art show, like that's what they're seeing. They're seeing a more full, holistic picture of the special needs community and all of the amazing things that are possible.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Carly, if someone sees your art at the show, what do you hope they feel or think about Michigan through your eyes?
I hope they feel like a sense of home and a sense of like peace that I've put into this work, because Michigan is just a great place to live. And I feel like, especially with the winters and with the weather conditions, sometimes people tend to have a negative feeling about Michigan. And I hope they see how beautiful this state can be when they look at my artwork.
That's absolutely right. There is so much beauty in this amazing state, and it's amazing that you, Carly, and many other artists are helping to capture that beauty. One more quick question before we wrap things up. Caitlin, what role do local partnerships play in making events like this possible, and how can West Bloomfield residents or businesses get involved?
We would love, the more the merrier. I'm a big believer in partnerships, just kind of helping spread the word. If you're a business that is looking to make your walls a little bit more beautiful and energized, it's a great way to come get an original piece of art for your space. And it tells a story. So it's really like art that tells a story, art with a message. We love to partner with people in that capacity of sharing art, doing pop-up gallery events, creating gifts for the people in your networks. We can, I always say with Soul Studio, if we can dream it, we can make it happen. So these partnerships are super important because they provide funding for our artists. All artists get a 50% commission of every original artwork that's sold. And it's huge for our artists to have their work be appreciated and looked at and purchased by people in the community. And it's just really a win-win.
That's absolutely right. And it's great to continue to have exhibits like this to showcase all of the creativity throughout Greater West Bloomfield. Caitlin, Carly, thank you both so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Another reminder, this exhibit is going to be unveiling at the Ferber Center on May 22nd. Make sure you stop by and support all of these incredible artists. The weather is continuing to get warmer all throughout Greater West Bloomfield, and the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society is bringing everybody outside with their nature walks. Our very own Kevin McIntosh has the story.
The Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary is a community staple, giving local residents an opportunity to connect with the nature in their backyard. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society hosts a nature walk right in this sanctuary, and I had an opportunity to explore myself and see what makes this sanctuary so special.
We are in the heart of West Bloomfield, and it's a place that could be driven by so easily on the way to the mall or a store. We are tucked in here. We're 35 beautiful acres that includes a prairie, hardwoods, evergreens, wetland, and other really beautiful stuff. So you can come here. There's so many different habitats, which gives you a great opportunity to see lots of different wildlife.
Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's naturalist, Carol Fink, showed me around the nature sanctuary and pointed out its unique features. She continued by sharing her routine before walking on the trail and her suggestions for enjoying the environment.
What I recommend is when you come here, leave your cell phones home if you can, leave your troubles in the parking lot and experience, be a part of nature, enjoy it, live every moment that you're here. And that includes looking at the bark of a tree. Use your hands, feel what the bark feels like, smell the wildflowers, see the wildlife, listen for the bird signs. It's a very unique, beautiful place. I kind of think of it as my corner gourmet store compared to several bigger sanctuaries. This place is home.
This public space is owned by West Bloomfield School District, and the Nature Walk is hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. Outside of updating the trail with fresh gravel, planting trees, and picking up occasional trash, the Nature Sanctuary is left as is with little to no cleanup.
Sometimes I feel driven to bring out my vacuum cleaner and my dust cloth, but I don't, because what we want to do, this is nature's house. This is Mother Nature's house, and we like to leave as much of it natural as we can. You'll see some trees that are sawed and laid over to the side of the path, and that was so people could get by if there was a tree down or a limb that's loose that might fall and hurt someone. But it's our intention to keep our woods wild and natural, because that's a habitat for the animals. The animals have a safe place to nest, to feed, and to rest. So we do it for the critters.
Insects, animals, and wildlife plants, all available at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary. If you're ever looking for a reason to get out of the house and explore our great outdoors right here in Greater West Bloomfield, the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's Nature Walk right here in the sanctuary should be a great option. From the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
And with that is going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everyone on our team for helping to make this great show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.